Yeah, so I'm Evan Watson. I'm managing partner and sommelier of Clementine, Edmonton. Yeah, so Clementine is like a small bar and bistro, kind of in the Oliver neighborhood in the city. We opened at the base of the Pearl Tower about 7 months ago, and our forte is like food and wine and cocktails. Try to blend sort of a fun like late night aesthetic into like sort of the contemporary restaurant scene. So Champagne is a sparkling wine, but it's made in the region of Champagne in France. The most important thing about that is that for wine, terroir is everything. Terroir is kind of this term for a sense of place, so sort of nature and geography and climate and culture and all these things, so that sort of blend together into a wine having a home somewhere. So the Champagne region is this really cold northern region in France, and any sparkling wine made in that particular region can call itself Champagne. And there's plenty of sparkling wine that isn't Champagne, and that just means it's made outside of it. Yeah, so Champagne is kind of funny. Like, the history of Champagne is so compelling. It was a total accident. Basically, Champagne, the region is very northern and very cold. And so traditionally, there was a kind of a wine that was made to challenge the wine of a region called Burgundy, which is basically like a stone's throw away from Champagne. So they were making this sort of pale red wine from Pinot Noir, and often really high in acidity, low in body, just, you know, this limpid thing, but that was like their calling card. And one of the funny things about Champagne is that over the winter time, it gets very, very cold. And so oftentimes the wine would ferment a little bit, winter would come, it would stop fermenting and the yeast would get super dormant, and then the springtime would hit, the yeast would start fermenting again in the bottle, and that's what carbonates it. So in the beginning, that was actually happening and people didn't know why that was happening. Bottles were just exploding everywhere because nobody was preparing for it, and everyone thought it was a bad fault. So you had people like Dom Perignon, like he's actually a guy, he's a monk, and you had people like him who spent his entire life work trying to make Champagne without bubbles in it. And so Champagne is crazy. It has this like wild story of people basically fighting against nature, saying like, we're gonna make this clean, crystal clear wine, and that just wasn't the case. So people embraced the fact that their wine was sparkling, and they figured out how to control it, and they ended up making this really beautiful thing out of it. There's a complex method for like how Champagne becomes Champagne. There's a lot of rules, a lot of designated, there's specific growing areas that you can grow in, there's specific aging requirements and all these other things that get into it. But at the end of the day, Champagne is a wine with lots of bubble. There's a huge spectrum. You have like, wine from the sweetest style, which was actually the more traditional style of Champagne. People often drink it quite sweet. To now you have wine that's in the dry style. So Brut is the most popular, but you also have ones even drier than that. Brut Zero, Brut Mature, these kind of like no sugar added type of wines.